Happy Devils Wednesday. This is the State of the Fan Address, episode 45. Is it 45? Yeah, it's episode 45. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks editor-in-chief Nick Villano, streaming live from Tampa, Florida. Nick, that's where you're at. I'm somewhere in the Bunker Studios and somewhere in beautiful New Jersey. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a great podcast. We've got a great guest coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. Rob Lippolis. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Binghamton Devils radio voice. He will be on talking about the Bing Devils, where they had a losing streak earlier in the season. The comeback kids coming back. Now they are just vying for a playoff spot in the AHL. We'll be talking to him. Also, we'll be talking about the New Jersey Devils. We're going to be talking about Mac Black's February 7-0-1 record. Can he make a push for the Calder Trophy? And we'll compare stats with Martin Brodeur. This is the State of the Fan Address. I see you're shaking your head. This is State of Fan Address, all powered by Nova Product Design from Primetime Radio. We're on Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube Live, Twitch, and we're everywhere after the show when we drop the podcast at midnight. Nick, I just want to I'm on my monologue, but I just got to give a shout out to Rebecca Morse from the Metropolitan Riveters. It's her birthday today. She's an all-star of the NWHL. That's how I'm going to pronounce it now. The NWHL women's hockey. It's her birthday. The Metropolitan Riveters are going to Minnesota this weekend to play the Whitecaps in a playoff game. Wishing them good luck. And also the reason why I'm wearing the Dunkin' Donuts hat, because I support Dunkin' because they support the NWHL and women's hockey. All right, I'm done with my monologue. You can speak now, Nick.
Are you sure? Are we good?
Yeah. Just going on. I'll keep. Yeah, I had a lot to get off my chest.
No, we have a ton to talk about tonight. Obviously, Binghamton is, as far as the on-ice product, Binghamton is kind of what's ruling all the conversation. The Devils were just kind of trashola yesterday against the Vegas Golden Knights. Couldn't really get anything done offensively. Defensively, they looked terrible. Mac Black couldn't save them. I mean, Mac Black can't save them when they score 0 goals. So, he's no Brodeur when it comes to scoring. So, not great. I think that it's kind of rough. I did want to bring one thing up, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this, Sam. 31 Thoughts came out today, Elliot Friedman's blog, and he put 2 things there about Tom Fitzgerald and said that in most situations, what Tom Fitzgerald did on trade deadline day would be enough to get an interim GM the full-time job. But it sounds like the Devils aren't convinced. And that's why I don't know if you saw, but they interviewed former Canucks GM Mike Gillis last week. It sounds like they're going to go through with the full process and kind of bring a bunch of people in. And I'm going to tell you, Sam, I think that means that Tom's not getting the job.
You think so? That's a pretty. I mean, he's cleaning house right now. That's for sure.
There's one thing to do due diligence. There's another thing to explain a full process when you think it's possible you have the guy in house. I just don't think they have the guy. And what was interesting beyond that is that Friedman thinks that if Fitzgerald doesn't get this job, he could very easily get another job. So I don't know if the Devils have heard something. Maybe they've heard that maybe Stan Bowman's going to lose his job, and that's somebody that they like. Or, maybe they want to go, maybe Kyle Dubas is somebody who might lose his job, and that's somebody they like. Maybe John Chayka in Arizona, ironically enough, the guy who traded for Taylor Hall. Another guy who might lose his job. Another guy who might be available. Dubas and Chayka are both very young. So that, maybe that's, whatever. The point is that it sounds like that Gillis was one of the only people that they were going to interview now, because they're only interviewing people who are available right now. Nobody in a job. And then they said they're going to do their due diligence on the rest of the candidates after the season's over. But there's not a lot of time between the end of the season and the draft. So that seems like, I don't know. I don't know if I like how they're going about this, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fitzgerald is doing a great job right now. To be honest, I think he's doing a wonderful job. He's clearing everything out. He's just starting all over. He's acquiring picks. I mean, I thought what he got for Blake Coleman was a pretty good trade with Tampa. I was actually pretty impressed. Wayne Simmons, not so much, but I think he did a pretty good job. But you know what? And when I can't believe you said that word process. I hate that word right now. I don't want to process. I want to win now.
Yeah, but winning now is never a good. You just kind of, what you do is you put a team together. You don't put it together with the thought of winning now or winning later. You just put the best team together. And then the wins just come when it's the right time for them to come. So if the right time for them to come is next year, great. We made win now moves this year when we brought in PK Subban, we brought in Wayne Simmons, we brought in Nikita Gusev. I think the Nikita Gusev move worked for gangbusters. The Wayne Simmons move, not so much. And then the PK Subban, I'm still saying that the jury's out on PK Subban. I'm not judging him at this point. I know a lot of people have already given up on him, which is kind of sad. I thought he could be a really fun player to watch as the second half or whatever. What are we on? Third quarter of his career, whatever it is.
Yep.
I thought it would be a lot of fun to kind of go through that journey with him. And I think that back injury did some damage to his thought process. And I think he trained a little differently this offseason. I think that it is affecting him on the ice and affecting his quickness and agility. And I've said that before. This is none of this is new. You know this, Sam. But I just feel like a lot of our win now moves had the right. I don't want to say thought process because you hate that word, but it was in the correct realm of thinking. But sometimes things just don't work. Honestly, the coach was just wrong. John Hines doesn't work with this team, and we're seeing what he's doing with Nashville, and I'm not impressed. I mean, Matt Duchene's on the fourth line sometimes. Philip Forsberg's on the fourth line sometimes. Just play the best players where you should play them, and we'll talk a little bit about Alain Nasreddine in the coming weeks. But like the fact that, all right, I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get flack for this, but Jesper Bratt never needed to sit. He didn't need to sit to go on the streak. A good coach could sit a guy down and be like, listen, this is what you're doing wrong, and this is what you should be doing right, and that should motivate them. But Jesper Bratt wasn't even having that bad of a season, or he's always been a little inconsistent. I get it, but right before he right before he got set, he had a good game, he had a decent game. The game before that was good. He had that big shootout goal. That's the kind of stuff that motivates people. And then you sit him. I understand that he's played real well after that, but that's not because you sat him. That's because he's been playing well. So I don't understand why you're sitting him for the likes of Hayden and these AHL guys when I don't know. And then the Jesper Bratt thing just kind of hit me in the weird way. I think that was the wrong move. I don't see why you sit Jesper Bratt when he's one of your most skilled forwards, and just kind of I don't get what the point was.
Yeah. Do you think there was just too much media emphasis and attention on the whole Bratt benching? I mean, do you think that's what got him going?
It's like if the Rangers sat Chris Kreider. Like, that's going to get a ton of media attention because it's a stupid move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I'm probably going a little hard and I'm probably making some people mad with how I'm saying this, but it just wasn't a good move. It was an incorrect move. It was not the right move. Period. End of story. Just bad move.
Just on a technical note, Nick, I fixed our Twitter problem.
Oh, okay, good.
We're now streaming live on Twitter and Periscope. There was a little bit of a branding change last time we. And anyway, I'll talk to you offline about that. But yeah, it was actually my fault. Actually, the Twitter was fine. But we're on Twitter right now.
I'm still gonna blame Twitter.
Yeah. All right. Well, right now it's a quarter past. Maybe I should get our next guest right now, Nick.
Yeah, go get the guest.
Facebook Live, and now that I got Twitter on there, you can talk to Twitter too. YouTube Live, Twitch, Periscope.
Yeah, I'll talk to just about everybody.
All right.
Facebook's quiet though. Facebook is quiet. What's going on with Facebook? Where's David Decker?
I don't know.
Oh man, that's scary. Somebody check on David Decker.
David Decker I think he just had a baby, actually.
That's not an excuse.
Oh, it's not? Okay. All right. Well, why don't you talk?
Not an excuse.
Talk to yourself for a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I can definitely talk to myself. I'm pretty good at it. No, just kind of expanding on the GM thing. I don't see a guy out there that I'm like in love with. Kind of based off of what Elliot Freeman said, he didn't really float any ideas himself. I don't think he would though. I think he wants to keep those relationships with the GMs and he doesn't want to float certain names and things like that. It's different with players. But once you start getting on the front office people, that's when you start hurting feelings. So I don't think Elliot Freeman actually wants to do that. On a side note, I do think that Tom Fitzgerald should just get the job. I think that they did a really good job with those trades. He's been running Binghamton. He made a really good hire on Binghamton and Mark Dennehy, which is not getting enough play or at least respect when it comes to the Devils coaching search. He has a lot of head coaching experience in college, and I don't think he would get it, but I just am so surprised that people are picking out dozens of names, literally dozens of names, and his name isn't even getting brought up. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little side note. But again, Tom Fitzgerald made that hire, I'm assuming, since he is the GM or was the GM at the time of the Binghamton Devils. So that's turning out to be a good hire. And, you look at how they put together this Binghamton team. Yeah, it took a while to kind of get the ball rolling. But once they kind of got Schneider down there to kind of solidify the net, which is a weird sentence to say. But once they got Schneider down there to calm everything down and get Gilles Sen back on track. And, Evan Cormier, I think, is down in the ECHL now. I'd had to double check. He might have been brought up when Corey got brought up. I'm not sure what happened after Domingue left, but again, get those guys back on track. Get them to make some saves behind a defense that still leaves a little bit to be desired, but an offense with a ton of skill and a ton of the ability to score, and just get them going. And it's hard. It's hard to figure out this Binghamton team because the players I thought were going to really step up this year kind of haven't. Like I thought McLeod was going to take another step forward, and he's been really good at the things that don't show up on the score sheet, but I need him to show up on the score sheet. Like that's just, he's making good passes out of the zone. He's doing it. Like I said, he's back checking. He's playing good defense. He's doing those things, but I just need him to do a little bit more than that. And then, Mikhail Maltsev took a little while to get going, but his goals are starting to go up. And, I expected a little more out of Binghamton to start, but the way they've been playing lately, it's just shown tenacity and grit and the kinds of things that like you really like to see from those kinds of teams. Like that's what you need from teams like that right now. You need you need something from these prospects when the New Jersey Devils just aren't getting it done. You need some kind of hope, and that hope comes from the prospects doing well. And, there's a lot of prospects that are doing really well in other areas. Tice Thompson having an amazing season at Providence. Graham Clark got hurt. He had that shoulder injury, but he's been a scoring machine in the beginning of the season, and then now that he's come back. So, Kevin Ball is a player that a lot of people like. I've been one to tell you that I'm not entirely on board with Kevin Ball, but Yanni Kuokkanen, the new guy from Carolina that we got in the Sammy Vatanen trade, he's looking real good. He's got a lot of hope coming in here, and he could jump right in next year. But yeah, I see Sam's back. Sam, are we good to go on our guest?
I think so. We were testing it out behind the scenes.
You gotta love the behind the scenes.
Yeah, actually, Rob is actually on his home studio somewhere in beautiful New York. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can't give too many specifics because the crazed Binghamton Devils fans will try to find that place.
Yeah. You know what, Nick? I'm actually kind of nervous to do the intro here because I forgot to ask him how to pronounce his last name. So hopefully I don't mutilate it. But anyway, coming to you via Skype on the Nova Product Design Hotline, we have Rob Lippolis from the Binghamton Devils. He is the radio voice of the Bing Devils. Rob, welcome to the State of the Fan Address. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, yeah, that's some ESPN quality sound right there. Gotta love that.
I appreciate that. And you got the name right. Not a lot of people do, but, man, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Hey, Sam, you're not as bad as you thought. So, Rob, I'm not going to attempt the last name because even though you just said it, I'll probably still mess it up. I'm terrible with hockey names, and you have a hockey name. So I'm just going to move on to the Binghamton Devils, who, unfortunately, I have to start by asking, what do you think of the new guy, Yanni? I'm going to try this. Kuokkanen? Is that close at least?
Yes, it is close. I guess the English version is that, but if you were going to try to say it from his country, it's Janne Kuokkanen. So they kind of like guacamole, but Kuokkanen. So, but I stay away from that. So I go Janne Kuokkanen. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll definitely. It sounds like it's a name we're going to have to get used to, Rob, because he's been really good in the past couple of games since he's been here. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he has a point streak that surpasses his entire time with Binghamton, correct?
Exactly. I mean, the funny thing is Charlotte was in Binghamton Friday and Saturday. He gets traded on the trade deadline day. And if only they would have just waited there another day, he could have just kind of moved hotel rooms or just stayed in the one he was in. So we watched him twice. Very smart player, good on the puck. He's a big guy. He's able to, shade off the defenders, kind of like a Mikhail Maltsev if you've seen him. But great with the puck. He's so smart. And I know New Jersey posted a bunch of highlights from his first 3 games here. And he's able to make some big plays, and that's some exciting stuff. To get a prospect like that is big things.
Yeah, no, I think that adding to Binghamton was a big deal this year. That's why I was a little upset with how they started. It was just, bringing in Zetterlund, bringing in another year of McLeod, Maltsev coming off his insane preseason. I thought this was the year that Binghamton was going to finally put together, and then it just started off so terribly. But, Rob, this team has been probably, if not the hottest, one of the top 3 hottest teams in the AHL over the past 2 months. What can you attribute to the change? Has there been an obvious change you've seen on the ice?
Goals against, if I could, and talking with Coach Dennehy, when you say goals against, you immediately think goaltending, and that's not the case. It was defensive zone all around. It was guys getting back, just making the smart plays. Maybe it's just a off the glass and out type play rather than trying to move right at the blue line and losing the puck. So and then goaltending during that. After the Devils lost 8 in a row, they went back and forth with a few wins and then won 8 in a row. And that was mid-December where that happened. And they were 11 or 12 points out of last place. That's how far back. And since December 14th, they are 23-9-0-0. And the run they're on, I mean, it was just – it almost, I don't want to really say it was a flick of a switch, but it really just seemed it. And every goaltender helped out during that. And it was Domingue, it was Schneider, it was Sen, it was Cormier. And it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like just kind of watching the little bit of Binghamton that we get, throughout the country here. It's a fun team to watch. It is kind of, it's a little bit of all or nothing from what I've seen. But, like you said, getting that defense down seems to have changed the fortunes of them completely. And, adding talent to this team, obviously you had Jesper Boquist for a couple weeks, adding Nick Merkley, adding Schnarr, and now adding Kuokkanen. I mean, how big of a deal has that been, just in general, adding all of this talent to a team that's already had some really good draft talent?
Well, you look at, once the winning started, that was literally right around the Taylor Hall trade after Binghamton got Nick Merkley and Nate Schnarr. And Merkley's been unbelievable. I know you guys got a chance to see him. Excuse me, but getting these guys, even Schnarr, when he's in the lineup, he's able to put up points. And then, you look at Quenneville, a guy who had split the season between the ECHL and AHL. He comes in great, for his size, great puck moving defenseman. He plays physically. He's got that edge, and he's got a great shot. And he's once he's been in the lineup, he's been great. And there's a distinct right at that trade, the Taylor Hall trade, where the Devils and Binghamton got Merkley and Schnarr. That was really where things kind of started to go on the upswing. And again, like I said, December 14th, 23-9-0-0. So, and it's not just that, it was getting additional guys as well, but that kind of moment was really the turning point here for me.
So just kind of looking at the stats, nothing really jumps off the page, which is interesting because, like we said, there's a lot of talent on this team, but it seems like a lot of that talent isn't turning into points. And I kind of wanted to ask you about a couple players real quick. I want to start with Michael McLeod. Michael McLeod is at 23 points over 47 games this season. Right now, he's on the New Jersey Devils. He's playing fourth line between Hayden and he's playing with Rooney sometimes. So he's kind of getting some looks. From what I could tell, he's playing really well at all the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. But should we be worried that that's not translating into goals and assists?
No. When he's on the ice, especially this year in Binghamton, he's one of the most effective players. And it was him, Bastian, and Bada for quite some time. And they moved Bada to that line. And he's a big guy. He's a he plays big too. He's able to lay the body on the wall. He's able to defend players when he has the puck, keep them away. His cutbacks, you watch him kind of get some speed through the neutral zone. Sometimes you see how he's able to cut back. He's one of the most effective players on the ice here, and there should be zero concern just from everything that I've seen.
Well, Shorts Guy, one of our other co-hosts for our other podcast here, he's going to be very excited because he's been on the McLeod train since he got drafted, and you see the talent there. I mean, he literally dragged that Mississauga Steelheads team to the OHL final. Like, that was only 3 years ago. So you see the talent there. But I'm gonna listen to you. I have high hopes. Another player that I'm a little more concerned about is Fabian Zetterlund. I thought that he was going to come in and kind of play out of his mind. He's coming from a men's league. It was a surprise that he signed when he did, but it looked like it was going to be a really good fit. He was going to get a year in Binghamton, but when I'm looking at the lines, I'm not even seeing him get very high up in the lines. He's usually in the bottom six. What are your thoughts on Zetterlund so far?
I think, when he's on the ice as well, I mean, he's a big guy. He can lay checks. He's on the power play. I think, he didn't get in the lineup right away. Obviously, they didn't want to play him back-to-back games early on in the season after the injury that he had last year. So, but once he got in, he started to show how effective he was. He likes laying the checks. He's a big guy. He's good down low along the wall. If he's in a scrum along the boards, a lot of times he's coming out with the puck. And then on the power play, he's had 3, I think, short side top shelf goals on the power play. And, he's a guy that just I would let him play his game like he's playing right now. And I think fans will start to see and start to love him.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. And then, the Russian Mikhail Maltsev, the Devils fans wanted him to make the NHL team in the preseason. He was skating through NHL talent. Looked like he had an NHL valued shot and just looked like he could be a guy who could score 20 goals right off the bat. But, when I look at his stats, he's got 10 goals this year in 45 games. And I know he's a dynamo in the shootout. And, he has won a couple games for this team. It seems like he has that clutch gene, but am I missing something here when it comes to, I feel like the consistency might be a little bit off so far.
First year. And when I talked with him in interviews, it's a lot faster. Some of the ice is a little smaller, and he wanted to learn to make plays faster. And you've seen that throughout the year. He's got probably some of the best hands on the team. I know you saw that in the shootout. By the way, after he did the first one, when he was coming down, I think it was 7 days later, I'm like, not a chance. And he kind of cut down the right side and he did it. And I couldn't believe it. But he's been great in the shootout. He's got great hands, and on the ice. And you know how Jaromir Jagr used to kind of protect the puck in the corner and how good he was at protecting the puck. He does it just like that. That's one thing I kind of can see. Puck protection, he's great on. He's a big guy, and on the power play, he's got unbelievable hands. And I think I'm very impressed. This being his first year, how he's played.
Man, you are a power of positivity. I'm turning around on all of these guys. You got the power, Rob.
Hey, I watched 75 games a year. So, no, I mean, it's right now. It's just such a positive vibe down here, and it's awesome. We're having some fun.
So one guy who's interested me, and somebody I'm kind of curious to see where he's going to end up going is Marian Studenic. He's a player that on last year's team that just didn't get things going. They were learning Dennehy's new system. It seemed like it was just a work in progress, and they just didn't have the same amount of talent that they have this year. But he was playing top line minutes for them last year. Studenic was, and now it seems like he's fallen back into that bottom six. What have you seen out of Studenic? It seems like he's playing a lot better lately. He's kind of stepped up his game with the Devils, who have stepped up their games. But what do you see out of Studenic specifically?
Speed, probably the fastest guy on the ice. And kind of go back to your first statement early on. He's been battling with injury, and when he came back into the lineup, that's when he started to really put up some points. Just looking at, he missed 11 games probably about a month ago, and since he came back, he was able to put together. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 6 points in 4 games. Then 2 games later, he put up a pair of goals. So since he's come back from injury, he's been the guy that we saw last year, and that fans I know are excited about.
So right now, at last check, the Devils are 1 point out behind the Syracuse Crunch for that final spot in the Calder Cup playoffs. But they've been back and forth, 1 point, 2 points, 1 point, 3 points, and they seem to keep winning, but they just can't find themselves into that spot. What do you think it's going to take for Binghamton to finally just get over the hump and get into the playoffs?
I'll tell you, it's when they started moving up the standings, the teams ahead of them weren't winning. And now they're still winning, but now the teams in front of them are winning. Just put it as simple as that. Syracuse, they play them 12 times a year. Excuse me. They got 1 game left with them here, and that's going to be a huge game. And just trailing, they got a game in hand. They had a 3-3 last weekend, 3-3 this weekend. So, I think they just got to keep doing what they're doing. They're winning, and at this point, you need a team maybe in front of you to stumble a little bit, but you got to keep the pedal to the metal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this team it's fun to follow. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see. It's giving a lot of hope that I think that the New Jersey team is kind of taken away from a lot of fans. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed some of the New Jersey fans following Binghamton a little bit more this season, just with how much of a tire fire it is up in the NHL team?
I think the opposite. I think it's because of how good, I think the fans would still be following and be fired up about this, even if, New Jersey was undefeated at this point in the season. So I think it's just the excitement of what's going on down here and kind of how it's happened. Being in dead last, 13 points out of, that far back into last, and what they're doing now is unbelievable. And the city's excited. It's been a long time since there's been playoff hockey for any affiliation here in Binghamton. The crowds are getting bigger, but it's a tough month coming up. After these 2 home games this weekend, Friday and Saturday, the Devils play the next 9 of 12 on the road. So that's going to be the breaking point in the season where we see what, how things are going to play out.
So, when it comes to a schedule like that, I feel like it's going to come down to the coach, and I feel like Mark Dennehy has done a masterful job. What are you seeing from Dennehy this season? That he came from college last year. There was some growing pains, and this year it just seems like it's on the up and up. What are you seeing from the coach?
I mean, just a lot of positivity. Sorry. And talking with him, he said they need to be better in the defensive zone. This was in, pregame interviews early on, and that was probably the one thing that was stressed most. And then that changed, and now you're seeing the results of that. I can, the fan base is very excited, and I know that this is something that they've wanted for quite some time, and New Jersey fans being able to see all these players come down here and help out, and with how they've been able to keep winning too. You take a look at the trade deadline, New Jersey, they're trying to get draft picks, and you got to get rid of players to do that. And then where do you get those other players from? And that's the American Hockey League. And if the Devils can get into the playoffs and possibly get those guys back from New Jersey, that's going to be huge, and it could be something pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about what they could possibly get in time for the playoffs, I'd have to look at the rules, but are they able to get Ty Smith if Ty Smith is available, or can he only play in the NHL?
No, that excuse me, he can come back after juniors. That was the last, and I'm pretty certain on that. I'm pretty sure this was his last year. But there's other guys as well. Look at how loaded the Ottawa 67s are with Devils draft picks. So that's another factor. That's a huge factor. There's been remember Nick Lappin, when he was signed out of college, and he came into the playoffs for Albany and had huge goals. So it's always a fun time. I love that time of year when you get those collegiate students who are looking to go pro, and you get those guys from juniors who you have on entry-level contracts. So that's one of my favorite times of the year, actually, other than I think it's more than the trade deadline for American Hockey League, and seeing guys come out of college, come out of juniors, go to pro.
So, we're coming down to the end of our time here, but I did want to ask specifically about Jesper Boquist. You only got a little taste of him, but he seems like every time he's on the ice, he just looks like he's better. Can you just kind of go into like what you've seen from Boquist in the short amount of time he's been in the AHL?
Best player on the ice. And this isn't just coming from me. When we're on the road, the other announcer, we talk, and after the game for a little bit, and he's like, man, that Boquist, best guy on the ice. And one of the things that we had, and it was obvious why he was coming back, get more ice time and play in all situations. And, you could check every single one of those off. Even in the first game, we were in Utica. He scored on a breakaway. It was his first game back down. The big thing was, and in the AHL, the time on ice isn't public. So you can't just go up and look at it. But coach said they doubled his ice time in the first game. So since then, he's been on everything, the penalty kill, overtime situations, power play, and he's getting a ton of minutes. And I think that was the goal, and they're accomplishing it, and he's still one of the best players on the ice.
Yeah, I think Boquist is probably the guy we have the highest hopes for when it comes to those AHL prospects. But we have a ton to love, and you've given us a lot to be hopeful for, a lot to be excited for. And Rob, I hope we talk to you again, in a couple of weeks, because if we do, that probably means that the Binghamton Devils are in the playoffs, and you're in the middle of a run, and we're gonna have to get an update from you. So we're rooting for a St. Louis Blues, but with the AHL playoffs.
The Calder Cup. Yep, that was the word you were looking for. But yeah,
Hey. I got confused because the Calder Trophy is the Rookie of the Year, and I was like, wait, did my brain do something there? So I appreciate you helping me out.
Hey, no problem. And you know what? It's snowing here right now. Turned from rain to snow. So I'm hoping the next time that we talk, maybe I can just do this outside in 70-degree weather. Who knows?
Yeah, get some iced tea out, go on the porch. That'd be nice. I live in Tampa, so it's always 70 degrees here, unless it's 90. So I don't feel that pain. I'm sorry, Rob.
No, hey, you're not missing much. Tampa sounds great. The warm weather, I'm missing that right now.
Well, Rob, I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have anything coming up? Anything to plug besides Binghamton?
Hey, just that's it. Just keep just looking on. I help out with the social media when I'm on the road and everything. But we see the chatter, we see the excitement. Social media blows up nowadays during wins, and a lot of people are paying attention, and that's exciting down here. And I hope they continue to do so.
Wonderful, Rob. Thanks so much for coming on. We're going to be continuing to following through the end of the season. Hopefully the Binghamton Devils get through that hard stretch, but we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks, guys.
That is Rob Lippolis. How do you pronounce it, Nick?
I lost my headphones. What did you say, Sam?
I'm sorry. I'm screwing up. This Skype system, I was getting all flustered, and I didn't, it's a little bit different, and I'm not in my normal routine. The Binghamton Devils radio voice. Wow. I feel positive for the future, Nick.
I felt like a negative Nancy talking to him, because every time I'd say something, he was like, no, this is great. I was like, all right, well, what about this? No, it's great.
You talked about the coach, and it was positivity. I think
he's like,
need to start thinking, being positive. Be positive again.
He's like the fourth member of New Day, but I think only my wrestling fans out there will understand the reference. But he's definitely the fourth member of New Day.
You know why I'm stumbling on his name? Because there's Rob Lippolis of the Devil's Die Hard group, and it's just when I see that Rob and then the Osis, and it's Lippolis.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We still have the end of March. Hopefully, I'll practice and get it the next time we have Rob on. But speaking of Tampa, Nick, before we play the game, we should talk to Facebook Live, Twitter Periscope, YouTube Live, all them. We're doing a road trip. The State of the Fan Address, Pucks and Pitchforks, and Let's Go Devils podcast. We're going down to Florida. March 14th. We got confirmation. March 14th. Listen up, everybody. We will be at the Bahama Breeze Sunrise in Sunrise, Florida, which is outside of, is it the BB&T Center? Is that what they call it now? Where the Florida Panthers play?
Yeah, BB&T Center.
Yeah, we are going to be at the Bahama Breeze down there. So all you transplants, go to the Bahama Breeze, be part of our pregame podcast. Also, just confirmed, tentatively confirmed, who do we bring to the restaurant /bar, the restaurant, for a pregame meal? Our special guest, Chico Resch, will be with us. Yes, that Chico Resch. Chico Eats. We should title that podcast, Chico Eats Again.
I was telling you, we're gonna do Chico and Volano Eats, because me and him, I'm gonna see if I could go one-on-one with the great one, and kind of go bite for bite with Chico. Although he might bite my finger if I get a little too crazy on it.
Yeah, so we're gonna be with Chico Resch eating before the Devils take on the Panthers. We're gonna feed them. We're gonna line up the table of food at the Bahama Breeze Sunrise in Sunrise, Florida, before the Devils take on the Florida Panthers March 14th. We'll have more details out on social media. And March 15th, We drive from Sunrise during the night. Hopefully, after a Devils victory, we travel in the dark of night, to Tampa. March 15th, Tampa Bay Lightning versus the New Jersey Devils at Amalie Arena. We are still trying to put the finishing touches to the plans there, but we will be broadcasting somewhere around the arena. We're just trying to confirm some things, but yeah, so Bahama Breeze and Sunrise, Florida. We hope to see you there. March 14th before the Devils take on the Florida Panthers. And also we will be in Tampa Bay Lightning, Devils, back-to-back. I'm going to say it's a home series. What is this?
It's a home and home series for me.
Yeah. And Nick,
you get to coast though.
You fulfill a bucket list of doing a live event with us.
Yeah, finally.
Right? Yeah, I mean, the last time we did a live podcast, it was kind of like a pop-up podcast. We were on the rooftop overlooking Amalie Arena, if you remember that. And it was like, 98 degrees out, and it was muggy, humid, and we got out of there in about 10 minutes because we couldn't take the heat.
I think we were talking about waiver pickups. That was not my best day, Sam. I think I've gotten better at this thing.
Yeah, but we will take our first road trip down to Florida. It's gonna be awesome. Also, one other plug: March 6th, Devils Blues pregame podcast. We'll report. Short Sky and I will be there. We're pregaming before the Devils take on the Blues at PJ Ryan's outside the Prudential Center. Come say hello. All right. Enough plugging. I've just been plugging. I've been plugged the NWHL, plugging about our road trip, even plugging the Binghamton Devils because now I'm excited. Right now, Nick, Facebook Live is some people there. We've got some people on Twitter, Periscope, YouTube Live, Twitch.
I gotta say, Sam, Facebook, you've been quiet tonight, and I don't like it. I'm saying there's people watching. There's plenty of people watching us, Sam, but they're just not talking. Why are they talking, Sam?
I'll tell you a reason why. Although we are the most commented Devils podcast in the history of New Jersey Devils podcasts, I think there's some Devils fatigue right now. There's some jet lag that they're feeling because the team just went through the West Coast. Nick, they had a decent West Coast trip. As a
they're tired. Those 10 o'clock puck drops are just rough for everybody. Yeah,
well, as a fan, you feel what the players are feeling. You're so into it. Like, you remember when the Devils were in the playoffs? One playoff game felt like 7 games to me as a fan. And I'm not even playing the game. Like, I'm already mentally exhausted, and it's like round 1, game 3.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Mark Wilbur writes, you learn a lot by listening, LOL. You know what? We did have a great guest, and Rob Lippolis. I'm starting to get it now. Just have to keep on repeating his name and stop mutilating it. But yeah. But you know what, Nick? It's time to play the game. I'm going to get our next guest. So I'm going to switch over the phones, but you talk to the people.
I'm going to try. Maybe it's something wrong with my thing because I'm looking and I still don't see the comments. And up. Okay, I see every comment now. Stupid Facebook. Eric Selden, you are completely correct that Tampa traffic does indeed stink. Now I have to update on every comment. I missed every comment. This is upsetting. I'm sorry, Facebook Live. I yelled at you. You were commenting. Facebook wasn't letting me see it. I say we blame Mark Zuckerberg. I think this is absolutely 100% his fault. I feel like that's right on brand for what's going on right now. We're just going to blame Mark Zuckerberg. Beyond that, let's talk some Devils. It was a decent West Coast trip. 5 games of the West Coast is always hard. I think they were gone for like a week and a half, and then on top of that, but that ending in Vegas was just rough. Man, the game was just not good. And for those of you who stayed up till 1:00 in the morning to watch the Devils just get pretty much trounced by future New Jersey Devils goalie Robin Lehner, and I kind of do want to touch on that because, Vinny Parisi wrote about it, but Robin Lehner he would be a perfect 1A, 1B to go along with Mackenzie Blackwood. Sure, it's going to be a hard decision once you get to the playoffs, but, this Devils team needs to make the playoffs before we worry about things like that. So I think that this is a no-brainer signing. I'd give him 4 years. 4 by 4, 4 years, $4 million each, or 4 years, $20 million total. First of all, it came out today that the salary cap's probably going to go up to $84 million minimum. It could go up to $88 million. Even if it goes up to $84 million, that's going to give the Devils $28 million of cap space this year, and I think it's like 49 to 50 next year, like an insane amount. The Devils have so much money. But beyond that, I think that getting that backup goaltender situation. Oh, and on top of that, they have the $28 million. Plus, they're probably going to buy out Corey Schneider. I would imagine. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like that's what's going to happen, and that's going to save them $4 million. I think it saves them $4 million next year, which then puts them to $32 million. And then you're talking about having to hit the floor. So this Devils team has to get contracts on the books just to hit the floor, and they can make some signings. They have to give Mackenzie Blackwood a new contract, so that's going to take up some money. They have to get Jesper Bratt re-signed. That's going to take up some money. But what are they going to make? Are they going to make more than 8 between the two of them? I don't think they are. I think that they're going to sign Blackwood to a short-term deal that pays him around 3.5. And I think they're going to sign Bratt to a long-term deal that signs him between 4.5 and 5. So that's going to get you to, you still have $26 million, $24 million to spend, and they got to spend it. They have to. There's players in free agency that are decent. I think that there could be some that are better than others, obviously, like there always is, but I feel like that there's a couple players, and I don't want to kind of give it away. I don't want to go off the top of my head and tell you which the specific ones, because that we're going to have a lot of content on Pucks and Pitchforks on that. But I think that I think that this offseason they can kind of do a complete reset of what they did last season, and they can make it work a lot better. They can actually be a winning team next year. I don't think they're going to be a Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins type team next year, obviously, but I think that they can be a Carolina Hurricanes type team. Is that too much to ask? Somebody who's on the cusp of the playoffs and has a really good core, and you can kind of see the present and the future being really good. I feel like that they can be something like that. Obviously, the Carolina Hurricanes have a world's better defense than us, but they have holes in their lineup just like we do. So I feel like, honestly, what the Devils need to do is they need to fill that number one left-handed defenseman position. That's the number one position that they got to fix. They need to get a backup goalie. That's a close number 2. And then they need to fill out at least one bottom or one top 6 forward. Probably 2, but I think they could live with 1 and then kind of fill in with young guys. I think that I think I like it. I think I like it, Sam.
That's great. Guess what?
What?
I've got our next guest on the Nova Product Design Hotline, and it's another last name I don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah, I really gave it to you rough this year or this week.
Yeah. So I'm going to just start making up his last name. So on the Nova Product Design Hotline to play the game from Pucks and Pitchforks, John Bonks. Is that how you pronounce it, John?
Boncheck.
Boncheck. Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Sorry
How
about
you guys
that.
doing tonight?
Good.
We're doing good, John. We're doing good. This is John's debut on the Let's Go Devils podcast. So, a little round of applause for John. Sam, we haven't had a debut in a couple weeks, so this is nice.
Yeah.
So, John, today the game we're playing, you're going to take on Sam in $1 million pyramid. Has anybody here watched the pyramid games?
No.
I cannot say I have. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Is right. Okay, it's very simple. It's basically like password, where you get a clue, and then I give you a bunch of clues towards that clue, and then once you guess the clue, you get a point. This time, the clue is going to be a player. You're going to have a 2-minute time limit, and all the clues are going to be stats. So I'm going to say he scored such and such amount of points. He has this many penalty minutes. He's been on the ice for this much. He plays this position, things like that. And then you have an unlimited amount of guesses, but you have a time limit to try to guess 6 players.
All right.
We'll just get started. All right, let's just get started. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. And then, so the first round, we're going to talk about NHL New Jersey Devils players currently on the roster. In the second round, since we talked to Rob Lippolis, we're going to talk about Binghamton players that are currently on the roster. And then for the third round, we're going to go with New Jersey Devils of the past. And we're going to look at career numbers. So this first time, we're going to look at season numbers for this season. The second round, we're going to look at season numbers for Binghamton. The third round, we're going to look career numbers for the best Devils. All right, so 2 minutes on the clock. John, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, and we will start. This first player plays both wings. He has 12 goals and 42 total points. He's only been in the penalty box for 12 minutes, but he has 14 of those 42 points in the power play. He doesn't play shorthandedly. He's Russian.
Oh, I would go with Nikita Gusev then.
That's correct. 1 point for you. The next guy on the list, he's a defenseman. He's played 66 games this season. He has 28 points, but a not so great minus 22. 46 penalty minutes. He's playing almost 23 minutes of time on ice per game, but he has 10 power play points. Not so bad for a defenseman. He's got over 100 shots, 109 shots to be exact, which ironically is the same amount of shots that Taylor Hall took while he was here. Any guesses for who that is?
Considering a lot of ice time, and we've traded our top 2 ice time guys, I would have to say Damon Severson.
That is correct. The next guy on the list is a center. Third line center, has 22 points in the season, 28 penalty minutes, is playing around 17 minutes of time on ice of the game. Doesn't have any power play points, but he does have 3 shorthanded points, including a shorthanded goal.
Third line center most of the year has been Travis Sajak.
That is correct. And your last clue, this player is a defenseman, 21 points this season. He has 1 power play assist, and I will tell you, I thought he was going to have a lot more. He only has 62 shots. Do you have any guesses who that is?
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with... How many points did you say?
21.
21 points. PK's not that high. I'm going to go with, is it Will Butcher because he's hurt?
It is Will Butchers. So
Wow.
you got 4.
I didn't think he got that many points so far.
Yeah, I know, it's surprising. He has 17 assists, so that's where you got it. What are you doing, Sam? Why are you waving a white flag?
I'm not going to win this game.
How are you not going to win this game?
Oh, you brought a ringer on to this podcast.
Yeah, but Sam, you got to remember, you have unlimited guesses. So you just keep naming names.
Hold on. Let me get the roster in front of me.
Do you really want to bring the cheating allegations up again, Sam?
No. I don't cheat.
All right, Sam, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. This player, just recently on a hot streak, plays left wing. He has 31 points in the season. Of those are 15 goals. He only has 6 penalty minutes, and for some reason, the coaches are only giving him 14 minutes of ice time. Of his 31 points, a mere 6 are on the power play, but he's shooting a ridiculous 15% on the season. Do you have any idea who this left wing is?
Miles Wood?
No, keep going.
Oh.
Just name left wings.
I know. I'm just drawing a blank because when you're down 4-0, it sucks. All right,
Who's really hot right now?
Mackenzie Blackwood, but he's not scoring.
Oh my God. Do you want to pass?
Pass.
All right. This player plays center and wing. He's playing center lately. He has 30 points, plays 16 minutes. He plays both power play and shorthanded and on the penalty kill. And honestly, he's probably better at scoring on the penalty kill. He's 4 points shorthanded this year. And he's shooting just 8%, former 6th overall pick.
You said hot, so I'm thinking Brat.
No, this is the next guy.
The next guy.
Yeah, you passed on Brat.
Oh.
Take the 6th overall pick. Clip.
Hughes. It's got to be Hughes.
No, 6th overall pick.
Zaka.
Yeah, there you go. You get a point. Huzzah. And this is going to be your last one. He plays defense, 65 games. He's played 22 minutes in those 65 games, a mere 15 points, and only 4 on the power play, which is astounding. But he's 147 shots with just a 4.8% shooting percentage from the blue line. Sam, who is that?
PK Subban?
That's correct. Good job, Sam. You get 2.
You know what it is? I'm telling you, when you're down 4-0, it changes your entire mindset. Like you gotta score 4 goals with one shot. And there you go. I'm getting right now. You're playing psychological games with me, John. But you know what? I made my little comeback. So if I were you, I would be a little scared because now we're going to the Bing.
Yeah, you might have me in the Bing.
Yeah, because I just had.
I'm gonna lie about that.
We just had on the Bing Devils radio play-by-play guy. I'm already onto the Bing.
I listened in, and you still definitely have more information about Bing than I do.
All right, so I'm going to try to pick only the players that are either top prospects or have been involved in trades this year. So these are players that are probably going to either get called up to the New Jersey Devils or players who've been involved in major trades, okay?
All right.
All right, so John, we're going to start with you. This first player, hold on, I'll start the clock in 3, 2, 1. This first player is a right winger. He has 35 points in the season. He's played for 2 different teams to get those 35 points. He is 0.7 points per game, and I don't know what that stat means. Anyway, sorry about that. He's got 141 shots. Like I say, he's played for 2 different teams. He was involved in a trade involving a former MVP.
I'm going to go with Nick Merkley.
That's correct. Our next guy is a former second-round pick. He has 32 points on the season. 13 of them are goals. He's quite the large individual, but he only has 0.55 points per game. He had a nice stretch with the New Jersey Devils last year playing right wing towards the end of the season. Do you know who that right wing is?
Ooh. Shit, he had a brief stint last year.
You can pass.
He's a right one. Would it be Bastian?
That is correct. Nathan Bastian. This next player is very Swedish. 42 games this year. He came in injured. So he's had a rough start with only 18 points in his first 42 pro games. He plays center and sometimes wing. Do you know who that Swede is?
Swede. I'm going to pass on that one.
Okay, we're going to pass on that one. The next one on the list is a defenseman currently on the New Jersey Devils, but when he was Binghamton, he played 50 games with them, 14 points this year. Do you know who that defenseman is? How do I stop this?
I'm going to guess Dakota Mermis.
Incorrect. The answer there was Josh Jacobs. And the one before that, we were looking for Fabian Zetterlund.
Oh, man, I was questioning myself on both of those. I should have went with my gut instinct on both.
All right, Sam.
The pressure's on, John. After that last, when I got those 2 questions right, you started to shake a little bit. All right.
Oh, man. Had to keep the foot on the pedal.
All right. Sam, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to give you a softball to start so you don't complain anymore. All right. 3, 2, 1. This player plays center, was a former first-round pick, 23 points, and a favorite of Beer Baron, not Shorts Guy.
Mikey McLeod.
That's correct. This next player has 34 points in the season. He plays right wing. He's the former captain of Team USA when they played in the World Juniors a couple years ago, and he's also a world champion college hockey player.
Why am I drawing a blank? I know this one.
You should know this one.
Pass.
Okay, this player is leading the Binghamton Devils in points, but a large majority of them were played in a different system. He was involved in a trade on trade deadline day, and he plays left wing, 55 games, 0.84 points per game. He's got quite the interesting name because that's the theme tonight.
That guy that Fitzgerald traded for, I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Are you going to pass on this one too?
Yeah, pass on that one.
Okay. This player, he was he's probably the most expensive player in the AHL this season. He's back on the Devils, but at one point he was a $6 million man in net.
Corey Schneider.
All right. And then this will probably be your last one. This player started with the Devils, but has now been benched a lot in the Binghamton system. He has 8 points on the blue line defenseman. He got sent down around December.
I'm going to be like John and take my time with this.
Since important decision.
Is it a defenseman?
I'll also say he this is his first year here, I believe. I gotta double check that, but I'm pretty sure this is his first. I still can't believe you didn't get Joey Anderson, but that's just me.
No, it hit me like 2 minutes later. But all right,
you got anything on this one?
Yeah.
All right, that one was Matt Tennyson.
I won't on that.
So Sam, you're playing for the tie. Tiebreaker would be total points. But John, we're going to let you go first. So this is all-time statistics for New Jersey Devils greats. I believe this is only the statistics they scored while they were wearing the red and black. So you ready?
Okay. Yep, I'm ready.
Right. We're going to start with... Oh, hold on. I got to start the clock. And go. This center, born in 1971, came over in the Sean Burke trade, scored 472 points for his time with the Devils, but had almost double that in terms of penalty minutes, 863, and had quite the impressive 134 plus minus, even though that stat doesn't matter. Played a little bit of power play, played a little bit of shorthanded, but the one stat that really stands out is 43 game-winning goals.
This is before my age, but I'm going to take a wild guess and go call Lemieux.
Incorrect. That was Bobby Holik. But so this next defenseman was born in 1964, longest tenured captain on the Devils, scored 430 points over his career, and had over 1,000 penalty minutes.
Yanni Oyenin?
I'm going to pass on that. I need to save the time.
Okay. This player was drafted in the 3rd round, born in 1990, and he's the reason why the Devils went to the 2012 Stanley Cup Finals.
Adam Henrique.
That is correct. This player is right now the highest amount of points currently on the Devils. He's the most career points as a member of the Devils and is still on the Devils with 529, born in 1985, and 12 of his goals were shorthanded goals in his career.
You said he owns the points record?
He's the active points record. He's the person on the team currently that has...
Travis Zajac.
That is correct. Hey, we got one. All right, Sam, you can't coast into this one now. Oh, we got 2. So he's got 2 here.
Hey, where's the beef?
All right, Sam. So, according to my calculations, you need 5 to win.
I would have gotten that Scott Stevens one.
You would have gotten that Scott Stevens one. All right, are you ready, Sam?
That was a quick pass on my part.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of pressure, John, right? It's not so easy.
I was trying to get the easy one. I was working my way to the easy question.
It's easier to do it on the phone than looking at Nick when he's ringing it off, on my screen. Just kidding. All right, let's go. Bring it on.
All right. Sam, are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. This American, born in 1984, scored a total of 410 410 points during his time with the Devils. He was the captain for 1 full season, but he was 1 for 1 on going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
First driver?
No, that's Zach Parise.
Oh.
This defenseman, born in 1973, was taken in the top 3 of the NHL draft thanks to a trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Did
you say something? Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. This player is the all-time leader in points with 1,025 from the Czech Republic.
Patrick Elias.
Correct. This player had 322 points with the Devils, but had 1,418 penalty minutes. One of the tough guys of those. What did you say?
Randy McKay.
Correct. And this player is a former captain of the New Jersey Devils. He's a defenseman born in 1982. 246 points in his career. Was just traded last week or 2 weeks ago. Andy Green is correct. This player was drafted by the Devils, scored 228 points, had a pretty promising career, but he ended up signing a restricted free agent contract that got the Devils Scott Stevens.
Brendan Shanahan.
Correct, and this is for the win. 218 points. This Russian, born in 1968, played for the Devils in the mid-90s on the 19... Who?
Sergei Brylin.
Incorrect. He had 349 penalty minutes, and he had 8 game-winning goals in his time with the Devils.
Sergei Nemchinov.
No. I'll give you one more guess.
It's a Russian?
Yes. He's my favorite. He's one of my favorite players. What did you say?
Alexander McGillney?
Incorrect. The correct answer we were looking for was Valery Zelepukin.
Ah. So we're tied.
Yeah, you're tied.
That was a phenomenal comeback there.
That was big. That was big. I knew you were going to do big in the history ones. You always do well with anything before the year 2000. I don't know if you knew that, Sam.
No, it's actually the opposite. I do better with after 2000, according to the felony shredder of YouTube. What do we do now?
If you know this, but I mean, we just tie. We go pre-2004 hockey, and we just tie.
How did you not get the Scott Stevens one, John?
I rushed that panic a little bit. I was trying to get as many questions as I could.
You know what? I think that's the problem. That's the problem, because in the beginning I was just like, who are the New Jersey Devils?
Yeah, I hear the year they were born, and I was like, oh, I don't know it.
Yeah.
It's all right, John. You could come back and you could try to make up for kissing your sister on the Let's Go Devils podcast tonight. John, you got anything coming up on the Pucks and Pitchforks blog?
Yes, as the season comes to a close, I will most likely be writing my next article on what the Devils need to add most and what prospects can have a biggest impact for next season. That'll be a big focal point going into my next article. As I think the Devils are very soft. I think we need to upgrade in size. So I think that'll be where we need to upgrade the most going into next season.
All right, John. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we're going to have you on again someday so you can try to make up for this travesty that was this game.
Yeah, I choked there in the third round. Gonna have to redeem myself.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thanks, John. Thanks.
Have a good night, guys.
That's John. Was it Bonchek? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I couldn't believe I made that comeback. I almost had the win. Were you surprised, Nick? I had brain the entire time until the last round when I woke up. When I woke up. Yep.
I still can't believe you didn't get Joey Anderson. I thought I'd put that on a silver platter for you.
I thought it came to my head like a minute later. I was just like, oh.
What are you gonna do? Happens. Happens to the best of us, Sam.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, so I think we had a good podcast tonight, Nick.
Yeah,
good
we went 90 minutes almost. 83 minutes.
We had some
big brain podcast.
Difficulties. We had brain farts. We had a lot of plugs. Happy birthdays.
That sounds like a typical Let's Go Devils podcast.
Yes. State of the fan address. The fans were quiet and they were noisy. But we're going to be in Florida next week when the Devils take on the Florida Panthers. And, let me lower this a little bit. The Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're taking a road trip, Nick. It's going to be great. This is going to be great.
I'm excited. We're going to meet some fans, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll meet some fans. We're going to eat with Chico. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be the best part.
I'm going to starve myself all day. So when Chico comes to the set and he starts eating and we're starting to stream live and doing all sorts of stuff, I'm going to be a pig.
Yeah, I'm going to still eat that day. And then I'm going to just eat with Chico.
Yeah. Just eat with Chico.
Eat with Chico.
We should title
make sure
it's again.
Yeah, that's good. Chico eats again. But make sure everybody gets on the Pucks and Pitchforks blog, pucksandpitchforks.com this week. We're going to have a couple of fun pieces looking ahead at who the coach might be, who the GM might be, who they might sign this offseason, and a couple reasons why you should still watch the Devils.
Yeah, Pucks and Pitchfork blog. You can access it at pucksandpitchforks.com. All powered by Fansided.
I'm waving. I'm saying goodbye. It's time to say goodbye, Sam.
Till next time, Devils fans. See you Friday night at PJ Ryan for Devils take on the St. Louis Blues. Till next time.